Boom. What's up, guys? Sorry it's been a couple days. Had a nice long Memorial Day weekend. Hope you had a good one too. But here to talk about VeChain. I did a video on them not too long ago. Just wanted to do an update, a little bit of news, a little bit of market analysis, take a look at the charts. So let's get right into it. Alright, so VeChain, we're looking here at 8.8 billion for their market cap, bringing them in at number 20 with Ethereum Classic, not too far behind them. And they're doing about $1 billion in the last 24 hours with volume. So let's take a look closer at the charts here. We're going to look first on the 1 day. So we can see, they really spiked up massively with the Bitcoin. That went all the way up. And then as the Bitcoin did its recent crash, all altcoins, and VeChain included, has also crashed down quite a bit. And now we're kind of in a period of some consolidation, as Bitcoin has also been kind of fluctuating up and down between that 35 to 40,000. But we're at a pretty key level right now. You'll notice we've been really, and I'll talk about this in the 4 hour as well, been hitting this 13.5 cent line quite a bit. So what does that mean? It just means it's an important price point for it. It's been treated as a resistance here back in the May 26th time. It shot right through it with a large candle and a drop May 19th. It just barely touched it on the wick of a candle in April 23rd, and it treated it as a bit of a resistance and a support, kind of a stepping stone here over on April 10th. So it's been respected and used a few times. On the 4 hour, this is a little bit more noticeable as well. But firstly, I just want to say, looking at VeChain, we're up, let's see here, 600% from what I understand, approximately, if you're looking at it from the beginning of the year to now. Well, maybe a little more, about 750%. Now, that's obviously not as good as the market high, the all-time high of basically 1,500%, but it's still pretty good. And you know what? It's, like I said, earlier stages in this, and there's been not a lot of awareness to it. So I definitely think we'll see ourselves getting back to all-time highs and further, but a lot of it's dependent upon its big boy brother, Bitcoin. If Bitcoin kind of rolls over and stays in that 35,000 for a few months, I think the growth here will be fairly slow. However, if Bitcoin once again breaks past 40,000 and shoots on upward past 50 pretty quick, I believe all the altcoins, and VET included, will follow suit. But let's zoom in a little bit, take a quick look at 4 hour. So here's that 13.5 cent mark, and I'm going to zoom right in on it too so we can see it even better. Look at that. So, it's definitely a factor for it. There's that wick that came down, touched it, and there's again where it's right around this price point where things sometimes seem to happen for VET. So does that mean what I believe is that if Bitcoin still stays in its little rut of that 35 to 40,000 and goes down a little bit, we may touch this and come back down and hit another support here or another support here for the buyers to bring it back up again. And maybe we'll just trade in this channel from down to 8 cents, possibly down to 7 or 8 cents as a lower support, but hopefully more than likely between that 9 to 10 cent to 13 cent range, just kind of up and down in there. Or if Bitcoin starts to increase break through this and use it as a resistance, as a support more, and push it up higher. Definitely a possibility. Looking back on the daily chart here, another bullish indicator we can see is the moving average convergence and divergence, the MACD line. We're crossing that signal line just a couple days ago, indicating, it's in the green and possibly a good time to buy again. So there's another good sign for it. But let's take a look at what the company itself has been doing and looking at and meeting with. So we go into this article, why VeChain Foundation met with China government officials. So there's a lot of money and business to be made in China. They've got a large population and technology and a lot of stuff going on. So according to the VeChain Foundation Twitter, there was a meeting with government officials from 3 important Chinese districts, Shanghai, Shangjing, and Huangpu. I don't know if my pronunciation is right on that. Let me know in the comments. But the meeting was attended by, you got the chief scientist of VeChain Technology, director of human resources, marketing. They were tasked with explaining use cases. So they're talking about how can we integrate and use VeChain and make a difference in the corporate sector. They talked about the impact of how it could help COVID-19 pandemic, tracking vaccines and viruses and where the virus is going and whatnot. And also its potential to provide incentives for a low carbon emission ecosystem and for the environment. So pretty interesting. Here we're on VeChain's Twitter page, and I am interested in VeChain's applications for the environment, and I think that's something that's going to be more and more concerning and more popular, and people are going to want to have a bigger impact on that here in the future. And I think VeChain knows that they have a good system, supply chain management system, blockchain management system to manage and track things that can help with the environment. And they've got a few posts about it. Here's one of them, one talking about World Oceans Day against plastic pollution, ensuring traceability and credibility. It's a webinar. It's going to be on June 8th to learn more. So that's going to be interesting. Waste cleanup from the oceans, verifying 300 kilogram waste cleanup from the oceans. That's cool. That's awesome. So Eisenrich, bit of a fanboy, whatever, they retweeted this. There's an article that they put out there talking about blockchain and carbon neutrality and the 10 billion market under the order of plastic limitation. So it's an interesting little just blurb talking about how helpful VeChain could be for helping the environment. Biodegradable plastics are forming new tens of billions of air outlets and even have the potential to reach 100 billion. Blockchain technology can help companies achieve data, transparent collaboration in the full scenarios of raw materials production and applications. Reduce cost pressure brought by biodegradable materials, improve management and production efficiency, especially enhance the management of upstream suppliers. On the other hand, it can accumulate credible data for enterprises and attract corporate users and enterprises with sustainable concepts, individual consumers, and adapt to market supervision and gradually improve standard system. So I like that. They're talking about, there's pressure for big companies to switch to biodegradable materials. And with that comes, different supply chain issues on getting those materials. So this is talking about how great an application VeChain could be to help improve the management of, sourcing those maybe more difficult to get materials and managing it and getting better efficiency in the company, which would be an awesome application and huge for it. Now, it's time to get not funny, but when I first saw this on VeChain's Twitter, it's the world's first blockchain-based IVF service app. All I saw was an article about introducing My Baby, and it's called My Baby, and it's a supply chain blockchain thing. And the first thing I thought of was this from The Office.
Okay! Keep simulating. Okay, do you have the Sharpie? Keep simulating. Do you have the Sharpie?
Yes, I do.
Okay, when the baby emerges, mark it secretly in a kind of a mark that only you can recognize and no baby snatcher could ever copy.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Ah!
Here we go. God, wow, what was on that?
Butter. Newborns are slippery.
Nice touch, good. Let's try that again.
So, anyway, that's not what this is about. It's not about tracking your baby as soon as you have it. It's not supply chain management for that. But I thought that was kind of funny. Don't forget to like the video, especially if you thought that was maybe just a tiny bit funny. Anyway, so what this article actually talks about is IVF in vitro fertilization. I'm definitely saying that wrong. In vitro fertilization service application. Talking about how it's, it's quite the journey when families decide to go through it, and it can help track it and enroll, I guess, there can be less anxiety, I guess, when they can track it through their app or through their system, MyBaby. And they're saying, $2.8 billion market by 2025, but just a different type of, application that you don't see a lot of other cryptos kind of getting into something like this. So probably new in the space for them to get into, but here's a picture of the MyBaby team and their launch ceremony there. Interesting application. Not about tracking your baby when you have it, about in vitro fertilization process in China. Well, that's about it that I have for VeChain right now. This is a little bit of a shorter, quicker video. Hope it was interesting for you. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.